That's a bit of a bummer, but they didn't have the most immediate pick coming up, so letting Mariano get his hands on the Timbersaw is not exactly a fun time if you're done. So Timber's got to go. The Beastmaster being banned out on the other side, so both sides are really starting to take aim at position 3.
Yeah, it does make you wonder though. Usually with the Timbersaw, of course, Mariano has been playing it a lot in this tournament, but it feels like now DogChamp better be picking some strength heroes in this upcoming phase here. Better see them make this ban really work for everything they've got. The only problem is that really when you see the Timbersaw taken out, you'd love to see a Kunkka on your team. Issue, of course, being that if you're going to pick Kunkka, you're probably going to see a monkey in your lane, and then you're going to have a very difficult time keeping speed. I think the TA ban is warranted, but the main problem I'm seeing here is that DogChamp have not had enough bans to take out the Lumiere Faceless Void, which is not only great versus the Coddle, but also one of those few tools that we actually see able to kill the Medusa, or at the very least, get her after the fight, because well, Medusa does not lock down a Faceless Void. A Medusa with the Blink Dagger barely keeps up with the Faceless Void, and then if you ever get an Aegis on that said Faceless Void, the game gets really murky. The game gets very difficult, and I think that's where DogChamp, as we usually talk about with the Medusa and the Coddle, might need some more fast damage here. I think they need a little bit of burst. Otherwise, they might see a few plays slip between their fingers. And of course, Infinity, seeing the Timbersaw taken out, can take this Mars with 100% confidence.
Got the Mars in their hands now, not just for themselves, but to keep it away from Speed, who said had been sort of playing it pretty frequently when he was standing in here, champ. So Infinity will grab it for themselves. They got another potential playmaker to work with, and as you were saying before, with that sort of Lumiere Faceless Void play, this is all kind of coming together quite nicely for Infinity because maybe the Mars and the Monkey King can make plays by themselves, but if they can't, then you could drop the Chronosphere first, dish out as much damage as possible, and then once that Chrono ends, you would be hard pressed to then miss an Arena Spear or to not have your Shaman in position for Hex and Shackles. Monkey King's just going to be able to drop Wukong's command for free at that point, so it really seems like they could chain a lot of this team fight together, but we'll have to wait and see, right? Still not really sure what they want to play with, and honestly, they could simply swing the Monkey King into Lumiere's hands as a carry as opposed to running it mid. So have options available. On the other side of things, though, DogChamp grabbing the Jakiro for themselves. A little bit of maybe area denial with those Jakiro spells, and gonna go for the Pangolier here as well. That hero just keeps on getting more and more popular.
Yep, do need to be a little bit concerned with the lane, perhaps, again, if you are playing versus that melee hero on the Monkey King, but they've got Pango Coddle. I think this is a perfect start. We used to always talk about Pango versus Mars in the past, where the Mars arena goes down. If the Pango gets the roll off, the team fight is blown wide open, and then you can't really do very much if you're Infinity. Of course, not the easiest Pango game, and I think that's where they picked the Jakiro very quickly, and I think DogChimp didn't need to spend all too much time deliberating, but you have to be concerned with this monkey pickup. You couldn't afford to pick a weak offlaner that's just going to get thrashed for speed, but at the same time, if you do lean into this melee matchup, and I do believe it is going to be a Rioya Pango, it's where Infinity, where do they want to take this draft? Where do they want to go in terms of these laning setups? Because they're the team with last pick. They're the team that's going to keep us guessing here. It's where DogChamp, I think, more likely need a speed hero. We're probably going to see the Pit Lord band out from Infinity next, assuming that it's going to be that. But at the same time, Infinity can really keep us blind with just picking up their 5 position. I'm imagining we're probably going to see Prada's pick up right here.
We
Okay.
might switch it up a little. Okay.
Yeah, don't really see the 5 Rubik all too much. So it does lean more heavily into that Shaman being the 5 position, I believe. But Mars Rubik, still a great lane. Mars Shaman, also a very good lane. But yeah, that's a little bit niche. Maybe versus the Coddle. We saw before how successful you can be when you do maybe get your hands on a few of those spells. And of course, Rubik versus Jakiro is a classic. That's your counter pick right there, where you are the better the Jakiro at times. You've got the instant cast Ice Path. Not just that, also a very good hero versus the Pango, because once you get that Ag Shard, the Telekinesis Lift can break up that Chain Disable, and if you can get really away from a Pango once, it's why Force Staffs are so good versus him. The Lift is just an even better version of that, so honestly, a very high value hero. I do wonder if the support duo is maybe a little weak when it comes to those team fights actually breaking out, but I'll be honest, I can't argue with it.
Yeah, I mean, just outlined really all the benefits there with the Rubik pick, and very few spells that he's just going to be disappointed in stealing if he does try and focus down some of those opposing opposing cores. So interesting move. We'll see how it works out, and we'll see who actually plays what. I think that might really dictate just how these two heroes sort of play out stylistically, because I mean they're both pretty impressive, but Genic and Prada do tend to play very different kind of styles with their supports. So we shall see. In the meantime, DogChamp, well, it's time to make a decision. Where do you think this Monkey King is going to go? Because that is going to dictate angle that they take for these final bans. Do they think it's going into PP's hands? That has been, I think, the case a little bit more often than not recently. I think it's been something like 2 of the last 3. It's been PP instead of Lumiere, but you can never be sure, because if you over sort of ban for one position, Infinity will just have that flexibility to work with. But for now, at least, they take away the Faceless Void. That probably has to be the smartest play here. You were talking it up here, and they don't really have a lineup that would do fantastically against it.
Yeah, you just get into this awkward situation where your supports are really susceptible to getting chrono. The Medusa can't really put a finger on him. It's also where seeing the Batrider come out, both opposing sides think they have the other's lane nailed down here. I feel like Infinity, if they need to, they could still put the Monkey King versus the Pango in the mid lane, but that's also where they're banning out mid laners like the Batrider, saying that if Speed really needs to take this Pango, and then, of course, probably still trail against that Monkey King, it's a matchup that the Pango is not going to be shut out of no matter where it ends up going. That's where DogChamp do have to make the call here. Are we going to see Speed's here? Are we going to see it in Ryoya's hands? I think Speed would do great on the Pango, and you do have the direct Coddle Pango lane, so a lot of mana that you can pump into him, a lot of swashbuckles, a lot of shield crashes. At the same time, being a melee hero versus Monkey King is never all too fun. But that is where I think DogChamp, they've got to kind of stamp their feet in the ground here and be confident with their next pickup here. I feel like the Invoker would have been a nice grab for them, to be honest, but the Void Spirit, that's another melee mid laner, and it most likely will be now Speed on that Pango, but that's where Infinity, they get the kind of final say in this matter. If they really want to, though, can they just pick Kunkka right now on Infinity's side and then have it for the Void Spirit lane and then also have it for the kiting of the Medusa? Probably, if they wanted to go that route.
Could absolutely get away with it, and PP, very much a man who knows what he's doing on that. So wouldn't really be too much you could do to punish that Kunkka pickup if that is where they want to go. So we'll see, because honestly, you could run the Monkey King mid there against the Void Spirit as well, and I think you'd be relatively okay too. So this is always what you want. This is why Infinity are in such a strong position with this iteration of the lineup. Up until the absolute last pick, Lumiere and PP can switch things up, and it's not even because they have to, it's just because Infinity have 2 options that will both work out for them.
Yeah, it's also where do we throw everything out the window? Do we send PP mid on the monkey and then let's say pick up a hero like the Terrorblade and then DogChamp are going to be struggling to kill off the illusions in the side lanes and then you've got the reflection for the Medusa. Again, they're going to keep us guessing here and it will be the
Whoa.
Bloodseeker. Well, that is your direct counter versus both the Pango and the Void Spirit, because unfortunately, Void Spirit is the one spirit where it does hurt whenever you try to get that step away. But okay, this is going to be an interesting matchup. Now, Lumiere, in terms of playing versus the Medusa, though, you are going to farm a lot slower than said Snake, and you are also going to need to run away. But again, as we always talk about, it comes down to the Stone Gaze. It comes down to that team fight execution. Medusas either feel really weak and scared, or they feel really strong and confident, and that's where Stonebake wants to be the latter. He wants to be in front. He wants to be happy to be frontlining for his team. And it's up to DogChamp, the rest of DogChamp, to keep everybody around.
Camp are going to have their work cut out for him here, because I even just sort of realized looking at this, you got Lumiere on the Bloodseeker, which, as you said, already just kind of an inherent counter to the Pangolier and the Void Spirit. Just because they like to move, he can hit him with the Rupture. Then you start looking into the shenanigans with Genic on the Rubik, Mariano on the Mars. You have now forced movement as well that you can sort of throw into the equation. How often that actually becomes relevant as opposed to just using the Rupture for the sake of it is speculative, but heroes like the Pangolier and the Void Spirit could end up getting taken down even faster than they would be used to against the Bloodseeker because of some of the combos they have at their disposal.
And we get the Ag Shard buffs. We get the HP percentage max damage, the 731C, one of the heroes that we saw a lot of teams thinking about, but not necessarily picking because, there is still a lot of other great carries in the game here. But that's also where I think Lumiere is right at home. He is one of those SA players that was actually playing Bloodseeker, I want to say, much longer ago. But that's where I do want to see a big change. I want to see what he's actually able to do. I want to see if he even goes for the Ags or if he is going to go for the more typical Scotty BKB buildup that we usually see. And if you can get a Scotty in this game, which is going to be much further down the line, but if you ever see Lumiere get ahead of Stonebank in terms of net worth, DogChamp are in a little bit of trouble.
They're going to have to do everything in their power to make sure that Stonebank is just sort of leading the charge for them. Uh, Figuratively early on in terms of the farming, and then quite literally as we sort of hit those later stages. So
My horse says nay, and
let's
so
see
do
what Infinity look to do here. Bit of a group up. They're sprays on the ground at the moment, so well, they know that their opponents are here. They know that they can see it, but one's gonna pull that trigger just yet. Little bit too risky as interesting one. Kind of baited him a little bit. Throw a sentry down there, but now, okay, Genic is actually going to walk up the ramp, and this is where the problems start. It was a fantastic fake out right up until the end there where they actually just walk back in.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's maybe Bloody Nine. You see him. He's like, do I kill this? They probably know. They might not know. Maybe they know. He walks away. But as we usually see, that gold going towards that Void Spirit. Going to be very happy for Ryoya. Only needs to get another lasted, and then that bot is going to come out extremely quickly.
Always nice to get the little advantage here, especially going into this lane against the Monkey King, because PP is almost assuredly going to just try and pressure him up as early as possible. He's got the point up in the Jingu already, so King against really any kind of melee hero is always going to have some fun.
Yeah, and PP has also just really made those matchups that should be 50-50, that seem 50-50, not feel 50-50. He really does explode out onto the map in very similar fashion to Lumiere, except it feels like PP makes those rotations maybe a little bit easier. I do remember maybe the first time we saw him on this Monkey King, perhaps struggling a little bit more when he went for maybe the more atypical build of just an Orchid Rush. I also think he was playing versus a Spirit in that game and then just kind of fell behind. But typically now, when he gets a Diffusal Blade, he still goes for the Echo Saber. In fact, it feels like he can actually make those easy rotations. This is nice, though. Ryoya with the creeps, PP can actually afford to trade into an entire creep wave. It's where he does have to take kind of a step back here, and the more safe levels that Ryoya can get, the more easily he can push in the wave himself, though. But that's where PP with Jingu is really got no other.
And there's not a whole lot you can do when he's got that bonus up and running. So, oh, middle lane looking stable at the moment as I actually put the camera in the wrong spot. It's Genic who gets the kill down in the bottom lane as well, the Rubik Mars lane does its work. Bloody Nine and not very mobile and not very durable. So they find the first, or not the first kill, their first kill, I should say, as Lumiere is trying to track down speed, but he's getting a little bit awkward. He's taking a lot of damage from that tower. He eventually finds the kill, but he's going to die to the tower shots, and Prada is somehow the last man standing as he got behind that tower, finished off Yaren with the Ether Shock, and yeah, everyone other than the Shadow Shaman is dead in the top lane. Just normal things.
Yeah, just normal stuff. Prada even drops a few items, lost his courier during all of that craziness, but yeah, I think speed going down at the beginning of that loses an entire creep wave. Doesn't get any XP for the after kill into Lumiere. That's where Yaren maybe gets a little bit more, but even then, I feel like you're a little bit unhappy. Lumiere gets to come back to the lane with boots as well, so speed needs to be very careful. And he's going for an interesting build. No bottle, no boots, instead just immediately rushing for the Ring of Health, which is going to help him out, but until then, not very tanky.
Well, back down bot. B9's getting hit up by that duo again. It's just too easy a combo to hit, really. Genic starts it, Mariano finishes it, and Medusa doesn't really have any damage outside of throwing this Mystic Snake, so not a whole lot Stonebank can do defensively. Not his fault, he's a Medusa, but he's going to hurt a little bit more, and so is this. On the other side of the map, Lumiere is going to start running Yaren down. Yaren steals a bounty, so, well, he's not going to go down for nothing, but it's a second kill up on the Bloodseeker.
Oh, and really the most unfortunate thing is pull from Prada. Very nice. Speed's creep wave is gone, and Prada will be able to kind of chill here and contest him. Meanwhile, the wave gets pushed all the way forward, so Bloomier has his own creep wave. Speed has a little
Oh
bit of a creep
yeah?
wave, but yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, the low ground.
Yannick, that's next level stuff there. He just stands on the high ground and waits. The second Ryoya tries to jump away, puts him right back down there, and best part is he lets PP get the kill, so your Monkey King is able to find his first of the game, and Infinity are kind of rolling a little bit here. 6 kills in 4 minutes. They're looking pretty impressive, but they might be giving one back here as Prada gets into some trouble, but he'll turn around for the shackles. Lumiere comes in and throws down the Blood Ride. Speed's in a little bit of trouble. He's got the shield crash now, but Lumiere... Okay. He dove the tower once, not really looking to do it again.
Yeah, doesn't want to go for it. And this is also the scary situation of this lane. You want your level 6 around the same time as, well, the Bloodseeker gets his, but with Lumiere taking a lot of these lanes, a lot of this XP by himself, as Prada's just been making the pulls happen, getting the half pulls going, you're going to see that Rupture online before Speed's Rolling Thunder, and then you really can't show. And where does Speed get his level 6 if he's not top? Really nowhere, as it's actually Genic in the mid lane playing on B9.
He's just
Isn't
been
able to
walking.
trace him down, but yeah.
Just been walking at B9, doesn't use the telekinesis, doesn't throw a fade bolt, just chasing him constantly. Speaking of chasing, up in that top lane again, Lumiere is just going to keep on going at it. Yaren tried to pop a salve there, but that's not going to work out the way he wanted it to. They'll lose Yaren, they'll lose the courier. Speed is able to get a bit of a trade-off there onto Prada, but I don't know. It just feels like too much is being given over to this Bloodseeker right now, who can really be a sort of pace-setting, tempo-setting kind of hero for Infinity if they keep giving him this kind of early advantage.
Yeah, and Lumiere's going to take every free kill he can get. Prada has been falling behind. Lumiere now with the phase boots, though, doesn't really need to be scared of any of the harassment coming out from Yaren. I don't even feel like they've been able to really play this lane all too much here, as B9 gets some revenge bottom, but then there's also the shackle top, and Yaren can eat a lot of damage.
Lumiere is not going to let this go. He's going to chase this to the ends of the earth as he does find the kill. B9 denies himself while Stonebank was able to get the kill on Mariana, but the problem is PP rotates in, and yeah. Stonebank, you have enough in terms of health and mana to survive against the normal off-lane duo, but Monkey King gets involved, that's just not going to happen. So, solid plays from DogChamp to get a couple of kills, but they just give up too much in exchange again.
Oh, wait, look at Ryoya.
Ryoya?
Okay,
He
he's got
okay.
the... Yeah, he chose the right orb. If he chose maybe
Yannick
a
still
little bit
got him,
poorly,
though. But there's no
need
boundless.
to
Oh, wait,
slow.
there is. He's got it back up. Does PP want to fight it, though? Not with this many heroes in. Both of the supports have rotated over. The problem is, if both the supports rotate over, Speed is all by himself here in the top lane. The Rupture's going to go down onto him. He'll look for the quick TP out, though, and I think he makes it. Okay, yes, he does. They only have the one bit of lockdown there coming out from your Shadow Shaman, as he didn't have enough mana for the Hex, so that's the first Rupture of the game used. Speed was able to survive, and that's going to be a bit of a benefit, I suppose, but the question is, what can they do with that? Other than Lumiere not coming running at you anymore, really know if there's an immediate benefit.
No lane, though. Lumiere just gets to chill now. He's already top of the CS by a lot, only tied by his Mars, who's also CSing quite nicely, but in terms of denies, Speed is certainly falling behind a little bit, and that's where you'd hope that Ryoya could be your difference maker. He could fix the situation, especially because, well, if Speed can force out the Rupture, survive, then come back with his own level 6, the Bloodseeker could actually die fairly easily, but until that situation arises, this is Ryoya might get a kill onto Prada, but still needs to be very careful here. Only has one step. Should get Prada, though.
Prada dead, and 2 heroes in the area. Lumiere is just going to take a step back and not tempt fate there. He does have his ult back up, but he didn't really have the mana for it, so he's going to try and play it safe. In the meantime, though, PP runs into Ryoya, and Ryoya doesn't have a whole lot to work with right now. He could dissimulate to the low ground. Yeah, that's exactly what he'll do. PP guesses wrong with the Boundless, and going to get your Void Spirit out of there. Now he's in position to try and contest for the rune, but is it going to be rough? And the rune's not even there. It actually spawns to the south, and Genic is going to be able to hold it. Maybe? He's coming, but so is Yaren. Oh. Okay, telekinesis didn't come out in time. Yarn actually denies it. He may pay for this with his life, though, as they are going to hit him up with the Boundless Strike into the Hex, into the Shackles. They find that first kill, but now Gennik's in trouble. Ryoya's going to try and track him down. Hasn't gotten the kill just yet, but they would like PP as a far more valuable kill, as Speed's getting in there with the Rolling Thunder. And you are more than okay letting the Rubik TP away at that point. You found the more valuable kill.
Yeah, real nice rotation from Speed, and typically you would want to shadow that Pango's rotation with Lumiere, but with how deep it is on the Radiant side, you can't have that Bloodseeker come in and then look up for that cleanup kill onto the Pango, because of course he had to use his TP to the mid-wave, so he can't just TP out of the Rupture, but with how extended that was, and overextended Infinity was, there's no rotation. Lumiere, of course, is still very farmed and is still very happy to sit in his lane, but you do wonder when Lumiere, who is certainly the more active carry, is going to make his presence known on the map, and that's also where PP needs to be careful. You can't really afford to give up all too many kills here, and that's also where Stonebank, they know he's left the lane, but he hasn't actually been able to finish off any of these stacks here, so PP might be able to steal quite a few of these.
Do have confirmed vision on Stonebank, though, with that creepway push into the tower, so I'm going to try and go for the kill first. There's going to be the Stone Gaze, though. They did get the Rupture onto him, so I don't know if they want to reinitiate. They might not have a choice, though, because Ryoya comes in. They're going to catch out Prada. Should be able to get the quick kill onto the Shadow Shaman. It's actually not that quick, though. Now Mariano comes in, drops the arena into the spear. Ryoya's in some trouble. They'll take him down with the Boundless Strike. They're still in onto Stonebank as well. Now they're going to throw down that Blood Right, just hitting up onto those two remaining heroes. Stonebank will fall. Bloody 9, dead as well. And Yaren is just desperately going to try and take as much of the stack as he can before Infinity steal the remainder.
It's still so unfortunate as, yeah, he knows Yarn's not level 6. If he could stay on him, this could be a kill, but yep, nice streak cut. That's your last tango. Well spent from Yarn, but at the same time, got everything they want. Got Stonebank, got everything in really a little bit more as well. Mariano gets to make his presence known on the map, gets to rotate, use that arena. I feel like they're just extremely happy. Someone's got to come bottom. Speed's been really keeping this wave in as much as he possibly can, but it's very safe farm, and I think that's where either PP or Mariano could see them just walk back here and then push in that tower as cards are alive. This is where we want to see those tier 1s traded, but I don't know how you take a Lumiere's tower, to be honest. I feel like he is still very obnoxious on this Bloodseeker. I think the more important note is going to be whether or not he rotates bottom, and they feel like they need the Bloodseeker to take out this defender in speed, or if they feel like they can do it by themselves.
As long as they keep the Siege Creep alive, they might just be able to do it with what they've got. PP is here, and you have Mariano and Prada coming over as well, so should be able to do this, especially considering the fact that Speed has decided he doesn't really want to fight. So, tower will be abandoned. Infinity should be able to pick it up, and I want to know what Lumiere's got planned next. He went for the Maelstrom first, looking like the BKB as his next queued item, so that should be when he tries to push in as, oh, Gennik uses a Stolen Dissimulate to create a little separation, and he is just fine mid. 3-man rotation from DogChamp comes up empty-handed.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty not good. And at the same time, you lose your cart timing top. You don't get to start transforming the map around you. It's where it feels as if DogChamp are waiting for either a rune on Ryoya, which could be contested pretty soon here, or a Blink Dagger up on speed. But you are still just playing Pango versus Bloodseeker, and the Blink Dagger leaves you pretty fragile in terms of your stats here, as Gennik doesn't get clipped. Actually, he's going to go in here. PP's on the back line.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Gonna try and take out Bloody 9 first here. Easier kill, and that does mean that Ryoya gets to back away, but honestly, they get what they want. They find the kill. Mariano grabbed the invis, and what is going on here? Lumiere in a little bit of trouble up top. 4 heroes coming in to kill him, and well, they will find that kill. Lumiere's not going to be able to get himself out from that, but Infinity, rather than rush TP's top to try and force that fight, will instead go after the tier 1 tower mid, because Prada, he was sitting in that mid lane for a lot of time just soaking up experience, but it got him his ult.
Yeah, it feels pretty nice. And actually, vision on Ryoya?
X, Shackles, Gennik's coming in with the telekinesis. PP's got the Boundless Strike, and there's just too much lockdown. Ryoya's dead. Now Yaren, he just gave himself away. Mariano's going to trap him in the arena. The spear stun is pretty much impossible to miss there, and find another one. This is just kind of sloppy for DogChamp.
Yeah, and even though you do give Ryoya the kill onto the Bloodseeker, now Lumiere gets to retreat to the jungle. Next time we most likely see him in a fight, it's going to be with the BKB. And I believe I've heard of Stone Gaze top, but again, without that Rolling Thunder, and the Rolling Thunder has 25 seconds on the CD, it can't really keep anybody around, and it's where, unfortunately for DogChamp, Jakiro Coddle is not the most dynamic duo. It really is just kind of getting those nice spells whenever your opponents are running at you. Unfortunately, in this game, if your opponents are running at you, it forces a rotation. It's in a very similar station where we usually see the Medusa end up, where anytime you get forced to use that Stone Gaze, you have to be so careful, because now it opens up the triangle to Smoke King from Infinity if they really want to press the issue. And Mariano should have his Blink Dagger in that timing where the Stone Gaze is still on CD. It's something that Infinity could really play for if they need to. But they could also just wait for Lumiere's BKB, which is coming at a blistering speed.
This is always the thing for the Medusa. Stonebank used the Stone Gaze in response to the Wukong's command, but PP can still find kills without his ult. Medusa can't defend herself without hers, so you're okay making that trade if you're Infinity. This trade may hurt a little bit more, though, as Prada is in some trouble, but he's going to be the bait. PP comes in, they're looking for the fight. Stonebank doesn't have his ult, so he really has to be careful, but with Speed actually coming in with the Rolling Thunder, might be able to do this. PP has to back off for now, but Lumiere's going to come in. There's the Rupture. Speed has to immediately stop that ult, and he's just not going to be able to live. Speed dead, B9 dead. Stonebank is going to try and hold his ground, but his mana gets burned through, and he's not going anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
After the fact, ooh, they had a high ground ward. That would have been really sad for the Void Spirit, but it's still very unideal. I think they just got a little bit too far ahead of themselves. And hey, why wait for Mariano Blink Dagger when we can just walk up and give him a little bit of a freebie there, especially with Stonebank, kind of giving away his positioning. And not the best case scenario there. And are they really going to do this? I guess they are. What's the alternative use for those Plague Words? Or rather, Serpent Words, and now into the pit. They should be able to contest this, especially with the Coddle. These Illuminates should be pesky, but with the Silence clipping onto it, is this just barely enough time? Wow.
They're trying
It's
to
just
get
free.
in, but it's not in time, and now Yarn's got to get away. Boundless Strike's going to lock him down. There's going to be a Blood Right underneath 2 or 3 heroes. Yarn should be dying right away. Bloody 9 goes down as well, and Ryoya just jumped into Shackles. This is going to be very awkward. He has to try and dissimulate himself out, but rather than dissimulate out, he actually... he went for the damage, which didn't get him a kill, and now... I don't know if he's getting away. There's going to be the Rupture. PP jumps in, the Spear pushes there, and Lumiere gets a freebie. Ryoya might have wanted to just bail out when he had the chance, but as it stands, 4 kills to Infinity, no deaths, they get Roshan, they get the Aegis, and... well, Lumiere's BKB is just about done, and at that point, there's just absolutely no stopping it.
Yeah, and, well, that is where it just feels nice to be Infinity right now. They've got really everything they need. It's going to be Stonebank just kind of running against the clock here, working on his items. He's very killable still, not close to that Manta style. Starkly different from the 13-minute Manta we saw yesterday from Parker. Just not really as fast as Ryoya is doing something. Lumiere, he's got one more step, but without follow-up, kind of falls short. And now you got to be scared,
Yeah.
and you're not scared enough.
I mean, I like what he was doing, but it was a little overly ambitious there. He got too far away from his backup, and now this is just a desperation fight. They have to try and get something. Mariano is starting to drop a little bit low, and they will finish him off, but EP's looking to see if he has an opportunity. He's going to jump his way forward, gets that inhibit from the diffuser. They're going to jump their way onto Stonebank to get him with the telekinesis. Now fighting inside of that Wukong's command, and he's just going to take way too much damage. Stonebank dead. Bloody 9 got clipped by Boundless into Fade Bolt. Infinity once again take the engagement. They find themselves 3 kills. This time it's Mariano who dies, so DogChamp get a little bit more gold than maybe the support kills they were picking up earlier, but the end result is still the same. They lose too many heroes, they fall back. Infinity are now going to start taking further control of this map.
Yeah, it's just not pretty. It's where we have the Blink Dagger finished up on speed, finally, but it's where, unfortunately, until he gets a Lotus Orb, and that is the one item that kind of breaks the game versus Core Bloodseeker. If you do get a Lotus Orb, but he ends up rupturing himself, then you end up wasting a lot of your BKB. But without a reason for Lumiere to use his BKB, he just is able to hold on to it forever, for so long. It's where you need to find that burst coming from, really, Ryoya and the supports, but it's where we brought up with their first 3 heroes picked up on DogChamp's side. The damage is very slow. It's not immediate, and Ryoya... so careful. There's an Aether Lens on Prada. If Prada had the vision, it would just be a dead Void Spirit, as PP is just pumping, and the lift,
They
and the
baited.
death.
100% baited. Prada, he's too good as Stonebank. Really? Okay. He denied the Arcane Rune. I think he probably could have grabbed it, but whatever. Not going to let it go into the opponent's hands, I suppose. That's going to count for something, but Ryoya, he really can't protect himself from that. If he doesn't see the initiation, then it's just over really before the fight's even begun, and now Infinity are going in for another tower. They drop the Serpent Wards. Lumiere's going to try to protect that Siege Creep. Not successful, but they could probably still do this, yeah. Lumiere and PP are both going to go after it, so Tier 2 is going to get taken down, and it increases even.
Yeah, and, well, how do we get back in this game for DogChamp? We've got Blink Dagger on speed, we've got the Ag Shard now, we can keep a hero chain stun for a while. The only problem is that for him to get that much time in Rolling Thunder spent, you need to hope Lumiere is using that Rupture on anyone else here. It's where, unfortunately, they can't really pass the baton. It's not like Ryoya can take a Rupture, make himself the target, and then escape. You'd probably just die, and then do you actually have enough damage once your Void Spirit's taken out? There's just no damage on DogChamp's side right now. It's where I think they really need to look at these later timings. It's just that, unfortunately, unless Infinity come knocking and diving underneath your towers, I feel like your towers are honestly doing more damage than anything else, as Mariano, you try to get the Rebuke into the Spear, try to go for the knockback, and that lands?
Prada, nope.
Okay.
Can't quite reach. Oh,
No.
Oh, wow. Mariano cuts through the trees. Prada, with the extended cast range, gets the lens. They set up for another Spear stun. Ryoya just can't catch a break there. He gets caught again. He thought he was free. I thought he was free. We were kind of done with that fight, but they pull him back in, and now, without Ryoya, the rest of this lineup isn't looking all that safe, as they need to back off.
You know, they're running. At least they have vision on the retreat here, and I think PP not having the tree dance AoE, even though that's what he usually likes to get at level 10. He's already got the cast range. Isn't able to close the distance, but it's still very reactive play, very easy walk away, and it's also the Aegis being reclaimed. But Aegis being reclaimed 20 minutes into the game, your second Aegis is going to be coming up so fast here, and your triangle is still so weak. They would hate to find Stonebank first. They do not want to give him up that target, but there's also a BKB on PP. It's not like you can really get your revenge play anymore. As DogChamp smoke up, I don't know if they even want this smoke, and PP, all he has to do is press the button, and then the fight's over.
Wukong's command, they're going to wait for the moment here as Mariano's looking for the blink. Gets in there. The spear actually kind of knocked Stonebank out of the trap, so he's going to be able to walk away, or maybe not. I think Lumiere is going to continue to chase. Yes, he is. He threw down that ult. They find the kill. Mariano will lose his own life, but at this point, DogChamp are just going to get cleaned up. Or maybe they won't. They took down PP, so unless Lumiere can really do this by himself, might just be able to pull out a win, or maybe not. Look at Lumiere go. He's a damn race car as he finds a 4th kill. Speed, I don't know. That would be risky. He's thinking about it. Just sort of inching his way forward, but Lumiere eventually will pull it back. Ultra kill for your Bloodseeker. Funnily enough, it was also an ultra kill for Yaren, I believe. The Coddle got all of those kills, but that's neat, but I'm not sure if it's overly useful compared to putting that money on a...
Hey, Yaren's halfway to a BKB. That's you know, easy making the gold well spent, but yeah, it's unfortunate Stonebank gets none of that love. At the very least, a lot of that XP was split between speed, so your Panko's looking a little bit better, but that was your best situation. That was an area where speed got a full duration Rolling Thunder off. You got a bunch of bounces off of that area. It's right next to a high ground and a choke point. Unfortunately, in that case, Ryoya ended up tanking that Rupture, so there's not much he can do after that fight actually breaks out. Almost looked like he was able to survive, but that's where Lumiere does not mess around. But as long as you are still keeping your head above water, you do have Medusa farming in this game still. Roche is going to be the next objective that Infinity really need, and they do actually need the Roche to, I think, make this game seem a lot easier. But I think the killer, as we always talk about, is going to be whether or not these Scotties get built up first, as PP's going to take his free kill on the B9.
Yeah, not a real way out here for the Jakiro, because he went for... Well, he went for sort of, I guess, a team utility sort of build with the Veil of Discord, but that means he doesn't have anything along the lines of a Force Staff to get away there as Ryoya, speaking of trying to get away, going to get hit by the Rupture, trying to... Oh. Okay. Trying to jump away, but he just killed himself. Ryoya's dead. Stonebank, though, gets in there with the Stone Gaze. That's enough to take down PP, and Speed wants a little bit more. They're in onto Prada, but here comes Lumiere, looking to start dishing out that damage. They're going to go directly onto Stonebank. Speed will still clean up that kill on the other side. Lumiere doesn't really seem to care. He's going to pop his BKB. Here comes Mariano, dropping down the arena into the Spear stun, and Stonebank is not dead yet, but there we go. Mariano's able to finish it off. Lumiere, though, so low on HP, that tower shot actually might kill him. I think Yaren got it with the Spirit Vessel instead, but that is Lumiere down, and Infinity can't fight anymore.
Yeah, they're overextending. That's another case where Speed can make the play as B9 might go down, but he's getting kited, and Mariano got the BKB. Will be fine, especially with Roya respawning here. He needs to go, and yeah, this will be enough time to beat TP back to the fountain. He should be fine, but Infinity give up both of their biggest cores in a situation where Roche was respawning in 35 seconds. And the game is kind of underway. Still lose the Dusa, still not the best situation for Stonebank, as he still is not getting a lot of the XP from these proxy kills, but at the same time, something for them to play around. I feel bad for Ryoya. He really is doing the sacrificial play here. The Pango is much more important than he is at this current stage, but it's working, and some of these big utility items are getting bought out. Specifically, Yaren's able to afford a Lotus Orb, and if that nightmare situation kind of arises where you do end up rupturing yourself on Lumiere, his BKB is getting down there. It's 7 seconds right now. It's going to be 6 seconds after his next charge. I don't know if DogChamp necessarily want to contest this next Roche, but this might delay them enough time to actually finish up a lot of these big items.
Yeah, just you only need a little bit to start getting that momentum going as PP does spot Speed here. And Speed, oh man, that is a very nice play from Genek, and I do not think... Oh, okay, as you said, the blink comes in, the boundless is gonna miss. Prada's coming in though, and okay, yeah. Party's over now. Speed does get taken down. Nifty play to sort of avoid the first couple of attempts, but eventually they will catch him.
Well, and okay, now Roche is maybe forfeit, but you know, it's okay. It's fine. I really don't think the second Aegis changes how much Infinity can do when it comes to getting on that high ground. Infinity still do need a lot of items. I think really DogChamp are more upset by the prospect of both PP and Lumiere getting Scotties. Then Stonebank is very unhappy, and that's also where we need to see those 4 staffs built up. Bloody Nine's working on his. I almost want Yaren to turn back for one, even though the BKB is going to allow him to stay much closer in these fights and close enough to get that Lotus Orb onto your Pango. I feel like without just as many 4 steps as you can possibly afford here, that Scotty could just ruin you if you take your team fight just a little bit too far out and then you don't have that retreat. You can't walk away. That's the nightmare situation for DogChamp right now, is just dying on their high ground, just needing to retreat to the tier 4s when they are trying to defend their tier 3s.
In the meantime, they gave the shard over to Lumiere, so he's got that Blood Rage to do a little bit more damage, heal himself up a little bit as well, and that is going to help them get through the likes of Stonebank that little bit faster. Lumiere is already just kind of massively sort of right-clicking in terms of the attack speed, so another thing for DogChamp to sort of bear in mind, their durability is going to take a hit if Lumiere is able to get into the middle of that fight, so see how they approach that. And right now we'll see how they approach this high ground defense, because they need to mount a defense. Their tier 3 is starting to get hit up, and they were able to take a tier 1 tower over on the other side of the map, and now they have to come back. Mariano, though, sees his moment. They're going to jump in. Yaren's the first target down. They're going to be able to blow him up immediately. He will buy back as quickly as possible, though. They're going to try to regroup, as Lumiere actually walked into an ice path there. Didn't activate his BKB on the first life, so that is the Aegis down. Stunned up by the ice path again. Now he's forced to activate the BKB, and he's going to start turning around. Bloody Nine in trouble, taken down. But Lumiere doesn't want to stick around. He's losing time on a BKB, but Speed gets in there, drops the Yules. Don't know if they can actually catch up to him, though. But they will be able to hit him. They got their Remnant in. Mariano's got to come forward, trying to help out with that Spear stun, but Lumiere needs to start healing. He's able to survive as he gets the kill onto Ryoya. Now it's time to back off. He's got to start hitting some creeps here to regen up, and DogChamp don't want to give him that opportunity. They are chasing across this south side jungle. Actually catch up to anyone, though. They need to catch something at this point, but just don't quite have the move speed or the angle to do so.
Yeah, and Infinity with the mid creep wave going and hitting that tier 2. They know exactly what was happening. For a while there, it felt like DogChamp was going to chase Infinity into their vision towards that bottom area, but just does not happen. But that was a pretty good defense, all things considered. Unfortunately, you do have to buy back on your supports there. It was a very nice Coliseum, catching both of them out on Mariano, but at the same time, you didn't commit your Mass Serpent wards. You could still look for that play after the fact, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. If they find the Medusa, if they find any hero, there's no glyph. This is where, unfortunately, even though they use the Aegis in not the most ideal way for your Infinity, they can just go for this revenge play. And this 5-minute window where there is no glyph is danger zone for DogChamp. It's where they could get rolled into 2 racks before you blink.
It's part of the reason why they're trying to maybe play this one a little bit safer. They're staying behind the tier 2 that they have left. The only person out is B9, who, if they pick him off, fine, really. I mean, it's going to suck for high ground defense if he's dead for a little while, but can potentially survive without him. So tries for the split push play. His teammates, though, are now starting to push out a little bit further, very tentatively, side of DogChamp, but making their way towards that river. We'll see if there's any sort of opening. They're pinging out Prada, who is forward in the middle lane. He's not alone, however. Mariano is still in a support position if they try to make that move.
Yeah, and they are really far out and really underneath all of Prada's vision here on the low ground, no less. I'm really confused actually.
Oh.
Are they waiting for a rune to spawn? It's
They
this
just
is
smoked
little
on a
bit
ward,
strange.
though.
They do have the high ground ward. Yeah. This is so awkward. Speed wants to find the initiation. Yep, the D-wards go down. Genic gets lifted. Oh no.
Directly in onto B9, trying to take him down quickly. They will be able to do so, but Stonebank, look at him. He's just going to push his way forward, but, well, I don't really know if this is what he wants. Now he's going to get trapped up by the shackles. You've got a couple of those Serpent Wards in position now. They're going to get the spear stun. PP channeled out the Wukong's command, and Lumiere just cut off the support at the knees, took down Speed and Yaren on the other side of the river, so Stonebank was well and truly alone in that fight.
Yeah, that was just devastating. Just such a good read and a reaction off of Infinity placing that ward. They get the immediate lift onto the Jakiro. Your secondary stun is taken out. They give the tome over to Lumiere. I feel like they were cooking that tome for 10 minutes, but he's 25, 2 rupture charges. Hey, it's a 25 talent now, if you didn't know, not the Ag Scepter anymore. So Lumiere doesn't need to sidestep his build for it, even though the first rupture was a full duration rupture onto the Pango, and we know how important that Pango has been for any teamfight DogChamp has been getting. But then the secondary rupture lands onto the Coddle, and then you lose everything and everyone as Ryoya gets shackled. Not to mention spider legs on Lumiere. Very cool, very nice, very fun. But after claiming that tier 2, still no glyph. There's a minute left. This is your 2 racks just kind of dying with a whimper on the side. They might decide to leave as soon as the Coddle and the Medusa respawn. But at the same time, they're in such a good position right now. They have so much gold coming in. And unless you really want to run in there with the Stone Gaze, I feel like this should just be them getting the racks. Still need to be careful here, especially if you're Speed. If you get ruptured again, the game could just be blown wide open. You're 100% going to lose if he goes down. But, oh my goodness, it's free.
2 full lanes of racks taken. Meanwhile, I do love Prada, these plays he's making. He'll shackle something for like a 1/10 of a second just to get those Serpent Wards and then cancel it immediately so that they have more pushing power. And 4 Serpent Wards, I mean, it's a nice little bit of extra damage. Not really as relevant when you've got someone like Lumiere who's just bashing his way through those buildings, but every little bit counts. They get the 2 full lanes of racks. They got a 25k lead. They have a DC'd player, however, so they're going to be waiting for Genic to return to the game. But once he does, this one's looking about as close to unthrowable as I think you can reasonably get.
Yeah, and never want to say any Medusa's playing in an unthrowable game, but I really don't think Stonebank, you're not seeing him hit those same checkpoints. You're not seeing him get those big power spikes. The next one, of course, being 25 and most likely a Silver Edge, but there's no Silver Edge. He has to buy this MKB because there's a butterfly built up from the Bloodseeker. The G gets called before Genic's even in the server. Mariano's raring to go. He wants out of this game, but I could definitely see why. Not to mention looking at your opponents here. Of course, everyone in Infinity scales so ridiculously well. PP's got the 25 to look forward to. He's got a Scotty now fully completed. Genic has just got items up the wazoo. Got the Refresher being built up on Mariano, only one component away. Then you've got that double arena to work with. And I really think without a BKB built up on Stonebank, a BKB he already can't afford, the double arena could be the nail in the coffin. But that's where the smoke could break things up a little bit here, but they need to find a target. They need to stay on the target. They need to keep him perfectly chain stunned, and they cannot lose their Jakiro early on in this fight. But Prada, he's playing spoiler, and he's out.
Oh, man. Speed might continue this chase, but at this point, Prada's getting closer and closer to his own backup, so even if Speed connects, you could end up initiating for the opposing side. And look at PP, he's going to get on the back line right away. There's going to be the Boundless. They drop down the arena as well into the Spear Stun. Bloody 9 already dead. Ryoya dropping low. Gonna be able to dissimulate for now, so he's not gonna get finished off just yet, but he's just taking too much damage. Mariano might just track him down. They haven't finished that kill, however, but it doesn't really matter. They'll get the kill onto speed eventually. They lock down Stonebank as well, and there's your GG called as Infinity. Well, they more than handle the Duso lineup, really, as they take the opening game of the series.
I am just mad. Where's the Ag Scepter? Where's the Blood Mist? Where's the Blood Seeker? I just want to see it, you know? It's just like, it doesn't feel like a Dota spell already, so, but seeing it buffed for what feels like no reason is also just hilarious. But yeah, no, they did a really good job of playing versus this Medusa. I feel like DogChamp were expecting Stonebank to be just a little bit more farm. They kind of lost track of their own triangle. They weren't really able to defend it. Infinity really hit every mark they needed to. Top lane was an absolute disaster. Think this Bloodseeker kind of blindsided the Pango in the lineup in the draft. They weren't really ready for it. The Void Spirit's kind of just the cherry on top where, okay, now we really get a great Bloodseeker game. And honestly, once Lumiere hit 25, the way he was executing fights, he was pinning down both Yard and Speed. You weren't seeing that situation where the Rupture lands on him because of the Lotus Orb. Just ran out of farm, ran out of time, didn't get enough team fights. 17 to 50. I mean, it's pretty definitive.
Yeah, DogChamp just get beat up pretty damn bad there. This kind of goes to show you can't rely exclusively on the Dusa, because things go kind of poorly. DogChamp suffer the defeat here in the opening game of this series. They're going to have to try and put this one out of their minds, bounce back, regroup, and come back with something a little bit more stable for game 2. Otherwise, Infinity are looking like they're just kind of on a road to a clean 2-0 sweep here, but we'll see what game 2 has in store, right? There could be some drastic changes for both teams. Difference. So we shall see. For now, though, it's Infinity who are victorious. We're going to be stepping away for a moment. When we return, though, game 2 between Infinity and... So stick around. Get back in about 10 minutes.